What's up, y'all? Today we're gonna be watching, I think it's 4 scary stories animated by Broccoli Animations, and yeah, we're just gonna check it out. Shit. Hold on. Okay, fixed that. So we're gonna be watching 4 scary stories animated by Broccoli Animations. I think that, let me check. Yeah, by Broccoli Animations. It was posted 16 hours ago, so it's relatively new. Comments so far say it's pretty good, so I think we're gonna be fine. But yeah, let's just jump straight into it. Check it out, see how it is. If I like it, I'll post it.
My wife Trisha was the CEO of a small but growing tech company. I was just a teacher. We had a very happy marriage, and it didn't bother me that Trisha was the breadwinner.
She already looks
different. Oh my god, what is that?
Actually, they both look different. She just looks like she has rotini on her head. It's a fucking bug in here. It's a 9.
Of the house. She was always stressed out though, and she put a lot of pressure on herself to keep expanding her company. Last quarter, her company had their biggest profits yet. They just acquired another small company, which was a difficult but very lucrative deal for them. At her shareholders meeting, Trisha was able to give the good news to her investors. Afterward, she came home in very good spirits, so I decided to take her out to dinner to celebrate. Even though I didn't like fancy restaurants, I knew that Trisha did. So I ended up taking her to a French restaurant that I'd heard great things about. We sat at a
What? Oh my god!
Table in the back and ordered. Before the food.
Hell no! What the fuck do he got on his head? Or she? Yes, it's she. She has lipstick on. What? Absolutely not. And their hands like fucking dino nuggies.
Trisha told me all about her day. She really was an amazing woman, and I was so happy that her company was doing well. Throughout the meal, though, I noticed that one of the waiters—
Oh my god! Look at your head! The fuck?
started to creep me out. I interrupted Trisha and told her to look to her left. By the time she glanced over, the waiter was already gone. I didn't think much about the waiter after that. We ended up having a really nice, pleasant dinner. I tried to pay, but Trisha wouldn't let me. We thanked our waiter and headed out.
There's no way. So you're telling me she just got a lucrative deal with the company got company for her. Let's go out. Celebrate. Understandable. But at least, if she knows you may smack motherfucker. Smack her. Something like why she can't celebrate something that happened.
Out. When we got
maybe
into
I'm
the parking lot, Trisha shouted, "What the hell?" I didn't know what she was looking at. She started running toward our car.
Titties.
That's when I saw what she'd seen. Our tires had been slashed.
Why
Right
your
away,
tires
I
that
thought
damn
about
little?
the waiter who had stared at us. I knew there was something strange about him.
His hair.
Didn't have proof, but I figured he was the one who slashed our tires. I explained that to Trisha, and she seemed pretty scared. She asked me to describe the man. I told her that he was balding and tall, with a red goatee. "Oh my god," she said. She knew this person. She didn't tell me who it was, though. She just told me to call a tow truck. "Shouldn't I call 911 first?" I asked. "No!" she screamed. I tried to get her to explain who this guy was, but she wouldn't. Eventually, the tow truck came and replaced our tires. Then we went back home. Trisha and I had just moved into a new house. She'd bought it right after her company made its big acquisition. It was a lot nicer and bigger than we needed, especially because we weren't planning to have kids. But it was a great place, very secluded. When we got inside, Trisha locked the door. I could tell she was still freaked out about the vandalism, but she still wouldn't tell me what was going on. We ended up going to sleep early.
Calling it now is her ex that she's jealous of, and he's gonna end up killing the boyfriend.
I had nightmares the whole night. The next day, Trisha went to our office as usual. I stayed at home. My students were on spring break. I did my regular house chores, still thinking about that man with the red goatee. I went out to grab the mail, but when I opened our mailbox, there was a dead bird inside. It had a pocket knife sticking out of its stomach. Someone had put it there.
What the bird do?
went back inside and called Trisha. When I told her what I'd seen, she got really quiet on the phone. Then I begged her to tell me who was after her. She took a deep breath and finally explained everything.
Fuck, my eye itch. God damn. Hold on.
She said that the company they'd acquired last quarter didn't want to sell. It was a hostile takeover, and the man was one of its owners. He hated losing his company, and now he was after her. I felt terrible. All Trisha wanted to do was grow her company. She was the hardest worker I knew, and it wasn't fair that stupid business stuff would lead to stalking and harassment. Still, I had to be prepared in case he came back. I told Trisha that I was going to call the police, and once again, she screamed, "No!"
Damn.
I could tell there was something she wasn't telling me, but I trusted her enough not to argue. I ended the call and then walked around the house, making sure all the doors and windows were locked. Nothing happened for the next few days. Trisha and I didn't even talk about it. We just pretended that life was back to normal. Then, Friday came around. Trisha was at her office as usual, and I'd just gotten home from the farmer's market. I walked inside and unloaded all my groceries.
Damn, what them fucking
I put
bananas.
everything in the fridge, not really paying attention to what I was doing.
Look at this motherfucking fridge. He has 4 carrots stuck on top of each other. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 bananas. 13 big ass bananas at that. Them bananas fat as hell. 13 of them bananas in the little shell part. Fucking parsley, raw parsley, and okay, there was no. And a motherfucking avocado. What type of fucking fridge is this? I don't think I said anything about the baguette. A long ass baguette. One of these motherfuckers.
But when I closed the fridge, I saw that someone had defaced all our photos. Trisha's face was scratched off each one.
It's in the streets. God damn!
The stalker had gotten inside the house. I ran to the table where I'd left my phone, but before I could reach it, the bearded man jumped out of a closet and grabbed me. He had the craziest look in it.
Nigga, definitely just cut it off. This nigga looks like the fucking default hillbilly. Default redneck.
In his eyes. "Please," I said, too scared to fight back. "Don't hurt me." He shoved me hard. I fell back.
Damn!
Slamming into the kitchen island and then collapsing onto the ground. As I tried to
Damn!
me in the face, I felt one of my teeth loosen. I looked up, blood oozing from my mouth, and I saw the
That
man
gelatin
move over
ass
me.
blood.
He pulled out a knife. What do you want?" I whimpered.
Wipe the damn blood off your
Lie.
face.
He said, "You and your wife are monsters." "We didn't do anything,"
Nigga, wipe the fucking blood off your face.
he roared.
And stop yelling at
He
me.
explained that he and his brother had started that company 10 years ago. Trisha tried to buy it off them, but they refused. Their business was very successful, and they loved what they did. So, Trisha sabotaged some of their products, paid people to intimidate their staff, and slander them online. She created so much drama that the men were forced to sell their company for peanuts. "She wouldn't do that," I protested. "I knew my wife. She was a good person." "But I'm not done!" he screamed, keeping the knife close enough to my face that I was scared to move. "After she took our company and swindled us out of
Not ready. Listen, dude. I honestly have nothing to do with that.
millions, she bribed the government to foreclose on my brother's house. And then she bought it." He was talking about the house we were in right now. "My brother had a heart attack soon after.
What the fuck?
All the stress that your wife gave him was just too much. And when I saw you in the restaurant, laughing and eating a $300 meal, I knew I had to do something." His expression
That
was
nigga dead.
unhinged, but somehow I believed him. Trisha was an amazing wife, but I guess she was a monster at work. All our success was built on the terrible things she did. That would explain why she never wanted me to call the police. He raised the knife, ready to strike. "Any last words?"
Weave.
he said.
Weave.
sorry, I said. Instantly, his grip on the knife loosened. He could see in my eyes that I had nothing to do with the tragedies in his life. It was all Trisha. He reached.
Why is niggas talking over him like that? My bad. It's 7 minutes into the video. I paused at least fucking 10 times.
Down. For a second, I thought he was going to strangle me. But instead, he grabbed my arm and helped me stand. My mouth was throbbing, but I was no longer dripping in blood. "Will you help me?" he asked. "With what?" "Revenge." I thought about it for a long time. I could never do anything to hurt.
This nigga. Bro, your wife, someone that you've known for years, and you're fucking thinking about helping a man kill her. A man that you met 30 seconds ago and tried to kill you. But he picked me up because he realized I had nothing to do with it. Nigga!
For Trisha. But if everything this man said was true, then she needed to pay for what she did. "No."
What if it's not?
I said. "I won't help you.
Okay.
But I won't get in your way either." He smiled at my answer. Then he turned around and walked out of the house. After that, I went to the dentist for emergency surgery. It wasn't that bad. And when I got home, I waited for Trisha to arrive. I was going to tell her everything, including my deal with her stalker. She never came home. The police found her car in the office basement, but Trisha was never seen again. Her company went on without her. I ended up selling the house and moved into a smaller, cheaper place. I didn't know what happened to that bearded man, but I hope he stays away from me forever. The house was the last one on the street. Advertised at the local estate agent as a well-loved property in need of some general maintenance, it had immediately piqued my interest. The area wasn't well known to me, but it seemed quiet and away from the main thoroughfare into town. The kind of place that troublemakers wouldn't bother, which is what I was in need of as a single mother. The price was just within my budget too, and it only took one viewing for me to decide to take it. My son seemed to like it too, which was a bonus. The first week was a blur of packing and unpacking, replacing the dingy yellow walls of our old apartment with the floral pink wallpaper of the new house. It was clear nobody had lived there in a while, since the place was rife with dust and mildew. Like the windows hadn't been opened in over a year, leaving everything to settle in the crevices. Some pieces of furniture had been left behind. A couple of chairs, an old dining table, and a moth-eaten sofa that went straight into a skip. Upstairs, the wooden bed frames had been abandoned, along with a scuffed dresser and wardrobe, but everything else was missing. The hard floors didn't even have a rug, and several dark stains tarnished the wood in places. About a week after moving into the new house, it started to resemble something more of a home. I managed to grab some furniture from local yard sales and thrift shops, and the empty, desolate rooms were soon populated by pops of color. I even let my son Henry choose out some things for his room, since we were no longer confined by the limited space of our old apartment. Everything went smoothly that first week. Henry and I gradually settled into the routine of our new surroundings.
This room is fire as hell. I wish I had this when I was a child.
And I started to feel like we finally had a place we felt safe. Somewhere we could stay for a while, growing into our environment. I never had a place to call home, and I thought that this might be it. But I was wrong. It was the second Tuesday we'd spent living in that house. Henry was at school, and I was doing some cleaning, trying to scrub out the old stains in the kitchen. After spending an hour inhaling bleach and scraping the sink clean, I headed upstairs for a short break. There was some laundry to put away, so I was between rooms when I heard it. Some sort of soft hissing sound coming from above me. At first, I paused, laundry basket hoisted in my arm, listening carefully. I thought maybe it was the wind or something else from outside, but it was coming from directly above me. I lifted my gaze to the small hatch in the ceiling. The attic had been detailed in the plans of the house, but I had yet to go up there. I had figured it wasn't much of a priority when I had the rest of the house to sort out first, so I hadn't bothered to investigate. Was that where the sounds were coming from? I set the laundry basket down and stretched up onto my tiptoes, trying to get a better idea of what I was hearing, but it was too faint to get a proper grasp on it. If there was something up there that I need to know about, there was no point in delaying any longer. I didn't have any means of getting up there without a ladder, which I didn't currently possess, so I hurried around to my neighbors to see if I could borrow one. Armed with a rusty stepladder, I set it up below the hatch and began to climb, listening to that strange undulating hiss noise coming from above. I undid the latch and pushed open the
It better not be a nigga in here, I swear to God.
attic door, immediately choking on the dust that was billowing down. Once the air had cleared, I poked my head through the gap, brushing aside a stray cobweb. The attic wasn't thrown into pitch darkness as I expected. A faint grainy light swept across the floorboards, illuminating the dust in the air. The gray light was coming from somewhere further in. Swallowing back my apprehension, I hoisted myself up through the hatch and scrambled onto the floor of the attic,
Nigga, by yourself?
finally picking myself up. I dug my phone out of my pocket and switched on the torch function, shining it across my feet. A couple of
Barefoot.
but I ignored them. Bugs were one thing I wasn't scared of, thanks to growing up with several older brothers. The attic was empty for the most part, except for a couple of old cardboard boxes and black trash bags. What drew my attention, however, was the thing at the very back of the attic. The thing that was emitting that faint, grainy light. It was a television. An old boxy thing with a VCR slot, like something from the 90s. The screen was filled with fuzzy gray static, the reason for the light and the hissing sound I'd heard from before. I walked closer to the TV, frowning.
You found out what it was, now leave. Leave.
Why was it turned on? I shone my torch over the walls, but I couldn't see a power plug anywhere. How was it managing to power itself without electricity? The cord slithered loosely across the floorboard, disconnected. Surely it was impossible for a TV like this to work without power. It was all rather bizarre, but there was no point dwelling on something you couldn't explain. I reached for the power button and turned it off. The attic went deathly silent, my torchlight dimming. A faint chill ran over my arms and neck, bringing goosebumps to the surface. Not sure where the feeling was coming from, I did my best to swallow back the dread and crossed the attic back to the ladder. I had barely put my foot on the first rung when the TV switched itself back on. The sudden burst of static made me jump, eliciting a soft yell from my lips. I threw back my head and glanced toward the television on the other side of the room. Static once more filled the screen, wavy gray lines that made my eyes water the more I looked at it. I stood, frozen, one foot on the ladder, staring into the gloom at the TV. Did it have some kind of faulty wiring? Did that even make sense? What other explanation was there? Because I certainly didn't believe in anything of a paranormal nature. Technology could be unpredictable, even the old stuff. There had to be some kind of reason that I was simply unaware of. Ignoring the slight tremor in my hand, I crossed the attic once more and jabbed the off button, plunging the screen into darkness. I waited a second, then another. When I was certain it wouldn't turn back on, I turned around. This time, what I heard from the television wasn't static. It was a voice, a whisper, soft as the wind. From before returned, making me feel cold all over. A flutter of unease made my heart beat faster. Could I have imagined it? I wanted to say yes, but when I turned back around, the TV was on again. The whisper had gone, replaced once more by static, but I couldn't get the sound of it out of my head. I stared at the undulating gray sea on the screen until my eyes began to glimpse something through the chaos. A shape hidden beneath the reams of pixels. It took me a second to realize what I was seeing. A face. or something that resembled a face. I glimpsed 2 dark eyes, a long jaw.
Is that Call of Duty
cheeks.
Ghost?
I blinked, wishing for the image to disappear, but it was still there, the face amongst the static. With a sharp gasp, I hit the switch again, banishing the face from my view. Instead, my own distorted, terrified gaze stared back through the reflection on the screen. Whatever was wrong with this TV, it wasn't normal. I didn't have an explanation, but it wasn't simply some electrical fault. It was something else. In the end, I decided to just throw the TV out. I didn't know if it could be fixed or if it was worth anything, but I knew that I had to get rid of it. Whatever had happened in this house, with this television, I had no part of it, nor would I involve myself or my son any further.
The machine was unassuming in construction, even smaller than I had imagined it would be when I had seen the prototype online. The reviews had been stellar, and all of the time tourists that had used it seemed enthusiastic to try it in other spheres of their lives where they had left less than satisfying memories. I was sure my life would change when I flicked the switch on. Still, my heart did not stop beating as frazzled nerves exerted itself all over my body. I dropped the coffee mug I held onto the table as gently as I could. Shit, I cussed nonchalantly, assessing the gray appliance with a fleeting glance just once. Then I flicked the switch, damning all consequences. The machine revved to a light, igniting an illuminating white glow.
This is an edition of the
large
Spider-Verse.
in the middle to form a portal. The temptation was instantaneous, and my skin tingled in disbelief. It was real. It was working, I thought to myself as I took one step forward. The buzzing glow of light drew me in with such warmth that affected my senses. It was bliss. Pure ecstasy, if I had ever felt it. In one moment, it felt like a cocoon of warmth, and in a split second, it sucked me in with the harshness of glass shards piercing through my skin. I cried loudly, bent over with my hands over my ears and my eyes.
Can't think I'm done. The 2 videos. That third video just fucking ruined it. I don't think I can do this anymore. I think next video is probably gonna be. I think I'm gonna play a game. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play a game. Shout out to Broccoli Animations for the wonderful video, beautiful video. There's the third one. The way he's saying it, in the way that he's like explaining it, no. But I had fun. Hope you guys had fun watching. Enjoy. God loves you. And remember, digital footprint.